Okay, welcome to our Tuesday, 2 o'clock, July 19th, 2022 consent agenda. It is 2:02. We will go ahead and get started. We will first open this meeting. Let the record reflect, I'm sorry, that all three commissioners are present and our executive management team. We will start our open public forum. For anyone who would like to testify on any item that is not on our agenda today, this is the time to come forward and speak to it. So I will open up the open public comment. And if you're coming up, I'm just going to ask you to come over to this mic, and then please state your name and address for the record, and I think Gina will have a form.
Thank you. My name is Brandon Ward. I live at 18814 West Burnett. I'm here because there's been a lot of problems with the codes being followed on an adjacent property. I've talked to Al French about it. He's done some work getting it taken care of. There was a stipulated agreement filed on the June 12th or 13th, admitting all the code violations and giving a 6-month period for it to be cleaned up and a whopping $75 fine. Since that stipulated agreement, it's been violated weekly, if not daily. There's manufacturing going on there. There's further dumping. There's commercial activity. And I haven't been able to get anybody to get back to me regarding this. I've been sending emails with photographs of the further violations. And I'm kind of at a loss because it's gone on since 2019. Furthermore, the filing for the recent court action was on December 3rd. On December 27th, the county issued further permits to Mr. Bailey, which violates County Code 14616-330. The very first paragraph says that if your property is not up to code, you cannot be issued any permits. So on the 27th, an employee issued a permit to turn it into a residence. That employee retired shortly thereafter. It isn't available. As far as I know, that is still a valid permit. No one's told me if that's been stopped. And all through the month of May and June, with the stop work, Mr. Bailey has been paving his property over the contaminated soils. He's paved thousands of square feet using waste products from jobs and from Busy Bee landfill. That was done with the stop work in place and included bringing in hundreds and hundreds of more yards of soils to put underneath there and level. And again, we haven't got a SEPA permit. I got a letter from Scott Chesney last September saying that they were closing the case and they had no evidence that there was any dumping going on or a need for a SEPA permit or for a grading permit. I provided the county with, I think, 1,600 yards being dumped, photos and explanations in a 98-page document. I've never received any acknowledgement of that document whatsoever, but Scott Chesney asked for the document, asked for proof that they're dumping. I provided that, and we had this court action since then. It wasn't brought up in the court action whatsoever. So we still have well over 8,000 yards of contaminated soils. Admittedly, a lot of the soils came from the racetrack park out in the valley. So Don Bailey's been dealing with the health department for all the soils he's been bringing in from there. And because you're only allowed to bring in 50 yards of soil that is, what do they call it, building refuse. Mm-hmm. You're only allowed to have 50 yards per property. And right now we're at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tons. It's all stacked up in the back of the property. So what I want to find out is why we're not, he violates the court order. It's been going on now for 2 months and we haven't done anything.
Okay, and it is a 3-minute limit.
Okay.
I apologize that I did not say
There's
that.
my 3 minutes.
So that was your 3 minutes. You are in the right building though for us to, the people that I think you need to speak to are in this building. Because it sounds like Mr. Chesney, I don't know, Commissioner French, since you've dealt with this, if you want to speak to it.
Yeah, and we had a couple meetings. about the situation, and have also had county legal working on this. It is he is right in that we have an habitual violator and abuser of the system. He's crafty and uses permits as a way to basically not be a good neighbor. And the gentleman has endured quite a bit. So I know that we did go to court, and so, but I don't know where we're at in terms of any enforcement action. But, you know, I think it might be time to try and figure out where we stand on the enforcement action, and is there anything that we can do? Or is there anything with the additional information that he's gathered that might help our case?
We can certainly look into it. I know, it sounds like an SOC, is that what you said was filed? Some sort of an agreement?
It's a stipulated agreement. I have it right here.
And that's pretty typical. The idea is to try to get voluntary compliance as best we can. Unfortunately, as we go back to those are probation violations, and they're treated like probation violations by the court. And of course, courts often weigh what they are facing versus what they're seeing, and they judge that oftentimes pretty lightly. You might recall the case of Mr. Bovedere, where the county spent a whole bunch of time trying to get these cars off this lot. I mean, we ultimately, I think it took about 3 years, and it finally took the board to agree to an abatement action. So I know these things can be slow. I appreciate if you could just be patient and mostly talk to building and planning. They need the information, they need the pictures, they need to know. Don't feel like you're overtelling them.
And I am, but there's been a deficit in returns of information. I've had some pretty good conversations with James Moore. We've talked about condemning the building so we can stop using it. I have videos and pictures I've sent him of recent manufacturing since the court order in the building and repair of commercial equipment. And so if he's willing to violate the agreement to the point where he's driving large commercial equipment in, welding and manufacturing, and then storing commercial equipment there, and he's obviously willing, like you said, crafty, to violate it in any way, shape, or form. And we still have the SEPA to deal with. There's never been a SEPA permit required or a grading permit, and we're at thousands of yards. And now with the stipulated agreement, Department of Ecology can start their action because it admits commercial use of the LTA lands. So who's going to end up paying for the cleanup? It's going to be a Superfund cleanup. I've been talking to James Moore about it. Is it going to be the county because they never required a permit, or is it going to be the state, or is it going to be Don Bailey?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things going on here, but since he's still dumping there, it's significant. Our water's at 50 feet out there.
So, Mark, yeah, so I think, you've brought it to our attention, and I think Mr. McLean, our attorney, will be looking into this further for us.
Okay. Should I come to the next meeting? Should I look forward to hearing back? What are we going to do?
Mark, I'm going to ask.
Okay. I have some documents here. Would you like me to give them to you?
I would rather you give them to James Moore.
To James Moore? I can go right up and give them to him.
That's exactly the guy.
That-
He's the one that needs it.
That
Okay.
would be great.
He's already received them, but okay. Brandon Ward.
And can you make sure you fill out the yellow slip for us?
Yes, I will.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're still continuing our open public forum. Second call for anyone wishing to testify at our open public forum for any items that are not on our today's agenda. Third and, okay, and you will have 3 minutes.
That's fine. Only need a minute.
Thank you. And
So,
can you state your name and?
Abram Worley, 18818 West Burnett. I'm a neighbor of Don Bailey, unfortunately. My issue is he got granted a permit to put a road in right next to existing road, which is my road. there's no 12-foot easement. And now I'm building a home back there, and services can't get back. Like, I have a neighbor that's police, and he said, you know, the service can't get back if I got a fire, if anything happens. No one can even get back there. So I wanna know why he was given a permit, cause he shouldn't have been, there's already a road there, and then why there's no 12-foot offset. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. I would ask you to fill out the yellow form, and I think having you go up and talk to James Moore as well would be advantageous today.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. So that was second call for anyone wishing to testify. I'm gonna go third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on our open public forum. Anyone on Zoom? Okay. Seeing no more, then we'll close the open public forum and we will go to our consent agenda items.
I would move that we approve the consent agenda as presented, approving items 2A through S like in Sam, excluding 2H like in House, as they appear on today's agenda.
I will second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve items 2A through S, excluding item 2H, which has been stricken from today's agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion passes unanimously. That will take us to our by leave item today, which is a resolution, by leave item number 4. A resolution in the matter of executing a resolution to approve agreements between Spokane County Community Services, Housing and Community Development Department, CSHCD, and various providers for the purposes of contracting for consolidated homeless grant services for the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2023. Since this is an addition to our agenda today, we will take open public comments on this. And please note that there were no written comments on the consent agenda items today. So with that, then I will open up the open public comment for by leave item number 4. Seeing if anyone's wishing to testify on by leave item number 4. Seeing none. Second call for anyone wishing to testify. *9 to unmute. Right? Seeing no one? Okay. Third and final call? Seeing no one? Okay, I will close the open public forum on by leave item number 4 and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that in the matter of executing a resolution to approve agreements between Spokane County Community Services, Housing and Community Development Department and various providers for the purposes of contracting for consolidated homeless grant CHG services for the period of July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2023, as presented in today's agenda.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion passes unanimously. That will conclude our 2 o'clock consent agenda items. We will be continuing back in our conference room in about 5 minutes to continue our meeting from yesterday. Thank you, and we'll see you in the conference room.